1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, you better lock your door. Today, we're talking about the Hatman. Because I've spoke about shadow beings, entities, whatever you want to call them, before. But, that pen's distracting me, sorry. But, I want to talk specifically about the Hatman. Because I have had experiences with him, and it's creepy. Also, he did inspire or somewhat inspired Nightmare on Elm Street, the Wes Craven, Freddy Krueger movies. Also, a little bit of information because I like Wes Craven. In one of his interviews, he was saying like the colour of his jumper was done on purpose, so like red and green are really unpleasant to see together, like optically, and he wanted to make everything about the character like just really unpleasant. So there you go. That is why he wears a red and green, because it is red and green. Everyone, sometimes people think it's black. It's very dark green, red and green shirt that he wears. But yeah, you wouldn't be mistaken to sort of think the Hatman has a similar vibe to Freddy Krueger. And the one I saw didn't have like dagger hands or anything, but like does give a Freddy Krueger vibe. So I'm going to tell you a bit about him, then I'm going to tell you about my experience. If you haven't seen the other video, you'll know, and if you have, you'll just get a little bit, a few more tidbits here and there. So the Hatman is a tall, dark shadow person. People speculate on whether he's a UFO, like some sort of ET entity. Can't get my words out. Like an alien or a demon or a ghost. I don't think ghost. When I spoke about shadow beings, I spoke about like interdimensional beings. They sort of feel like that, but the Hatman feels a bit different to me. And most shadow people do have a certain vibe about them. They're not all unpleasant. They're just a bit like, it's a bit odd. The Hatman has a very unpleasant vibe about him. So he's usually, the way he looks, is a very tall, dark figure with like a wide brimmed hat, sort of like a fedora. Some see him with an even wider brim, some just general fedora looking hat. And he usually stands like, from what I've read and what I've experienced, like in the corner of a room or like at the foot of a bed, which is unpleasant. But yeah, what I found really interesting was all around the world when I did my shadow people video, all around the world people have spoke about and seen and had experiences with shadow people, but they've all been quite different, and some might even believe they're jinn and other things like that, but they've all been quite different in the feel of him or the look of him, whereas the Hatman seems to be universally pretty much the same everywhere in the world. There's only a few slight differences, which I'm going to let you know now. So, some have seen him as like really tall, like 10 feet, and some people have seen him as like more like 6 feet. But either way, pretty damn tall, especially if you're me, because I'm a hobbit, literally. I just don't have the hairy feet. I wish I did live in the Shire though. It'd be a lot nicer than here right now. Anyway, it's really tall, either way, really, really tall, between 6 and 10 feet. So there is some discrepancy there, you know, but it's like, it's not a crazy thing. It's not like someone saying he's bright red and someone saying he's black. It's just a dark, shadowy figure. Some see him as 6 feet, some see him as 10 feet tall. And some people have noted that it's like all dark, like black shadowy figures, but the eyes look sort of like have a red tint to them. Other people have just described them as like deep black holes, like you don't really see eyes, you just see the whole ominous looming figure. That's the only real differences in the whole world that have had experience with the Hatman. Now, what people think can cause this, like scientifically, people believe it can be like to do with sleep paralysis, a nightmare. Oh, he's also can be classed as a nightmare demon. I have had experience with them, but not him in my nightmares. I was awake when I saw him. And I say him because it has the look is more like masculine. Also, it has like a very male energy to me, personally. A very masculine, male, like dominating energy, which I'll get more into in a minute. But what was I saying? My God, my brain, because I veered off the notes. You see, this is what happens. What was it? Yeah, the entire world though, it all seems to be universally the same. Yes, scientific. So some, and again, this is universal theories and how people have experienced it. So some relating to a nightmare demon, sleep paralysis, hallucinations, like, if you're poorly and you have a fever and you might, not be fully compass mentis. Or, funnily enough, like Benadryl, if you take too much Benadryl, or like allergy medication. But the thing is, when I had my lovely experience with him, I wasn't on Benadryl. I do occasionally take allergy medication, but on the day I took it, I did take one tablet because my friend has cats. And I was staying at her house that night, but I only took the one. It's not like I abused it, and it says only if you like overuse Benadryl. It specifies Benadryl as well, and this was a completely different brand. Because you can get 3 different types of allergy things. One's like begins with a C, one begins with an L, and one's phenylphexidine. And I had one that is like the different chemical makeup from Benadryl. And I only had the one, and I didn't have any the day before, so it's not like I was abusing allergy medication. So I genuinely don't think it was that, because I've taken allergy medication before that, and for multiple days in a row, and I've not seen the Hat Man. So I don't know. I don't think it was that. Personally, that's just my own personal opinion. If you want to be more scientifically minded, you can blame the allergy medication. But I was already asleep, and sorry, that was it for the scientific explanation, was it? Let me check my notes. It was. Anyway, yeah, my personal experience. So I was asleep in her guest bedroom. Because I believe the day that I stayed over, we were going to watch like a roller derby match, and I just stayed over. So yeah, so we had a great day. Nothing bad had happened. It's not like we overdrank or indulged in anything, like we don't take anything. I think we only maybe had 1 or 2 glasses of wine. All these things I've done before and not had any shadow or Hatman experiences. So nothing out of the usual, nothing crazy. I was actually fully asleep, and when you feel like someone's watching you, you'll know this if you have toddlers and they stand next to you, next to your bed, and just stare at you and creep you out and tell you they need the toilet and you have to take them there even though they're already awake. Anyway, so I got the feeling that someone was watching me, and it actually woke me up. I could feel like this uncomfortable being watched feeling. And I turned around, and it weren't quite in the corner, but it was sort of like just before the doorway, or just after the doorway, sorry. So I couldn't have even escaped if I wanted to move. And at the foot of my bed, because it was like a small spare room. It's a spare room. So like the bed was here. He was here. And the door was just there. So if I'd have wanted to get up and distract myself and go get a drink of water or sit on the settee, I couldn't have done that because I weren't going past him. And I remember thinking, it's okay, it'll disappear in a minute. You're probably just hallucinating because it's nighttime. You just woke up. It's probably just a shadow. It's probably just a coat or something. Blinked a few times, looked around the room, see if I could see a coat peg, or there was a coat on the back of the door. Maybe it was that. No. There was no clothes hung up anywhere. There was nothing. There was no furniture or anything in that room that could have cast this kind of shadow. I blinked a few times. He didn't move. He just stood there watching me, really ominous. And it also, when I saw him, he was really tall, like extremely tall, taller than 6 feet. So I'm leaning more towards the people that say 10 foot. Maybe not quite 10 foot, but tall, like at least 7, 8 feet, like really tall, quite slim, had the hat and everything. And I didn't see red eyes. It just looked like dark pits, like people that explain that. It just was all dark, and it felt like really oppressive and ominous, like, when you feel like something really bad's gonna happen. It felt like that. Like nothing bad it did happen. But yeah, yeah, it's really, really horrible. Like if you've just experienced something traumatic, or you know something bad is going to happen but you don't know how, it's that feeling. Or if you're watching a horror movie, which by the way I didn't watch a horror movie that night either, because these friends didn't. They're not really big on horror films either. But if you're watching a horror movie and you know something's going to happen, or someone's about to jump scare you, or something's coming in the movie, it felt like that. But it didn't move, didn't say anything, didn't do anything, to be fair. But it felt so gross. It felt so grim. It felt like my soul wanted to shrivel up and hide. It was horrible. And I just was like, please go away, please go away. And I'm not even religious, but because I was in my friend's house and she is, I just thought, right, I'm just going to pray. That didn't do much, but I just closed my eyes. I don't know how I got the nerve to close my eyes. Something in my head just said, close your eyes and ignore it. I daren't open them again because I knew he'd still be stood there. So I just closed my eyes and basically prayed myself to sleep, even though at the time I wasn't really religious or atheistic. I was sort of agnostic at the time. Right now I don't believe in a, sky daddy god. But yeah, at the time I was sort of more agnostic, but something just, probably my religious upbringing told me to pray, so I just prayed to whatever God was willing to listen, basically. And closed my eyes and forced myself to sleep. God knows how I did it, or well, whatever is out there. I don't know how I did it, because it was horrible. I think just willpower, basically. And when I woke up, it was the morning, and it was gone, and it was great, because he weren't there. But I don't know how long it stood there. And it felt so uncomfortable and so unpleasant, but I knew if I looked, it would stay. It wasn't going to leave if I was to give it more attention. And in fact, something in my head was like, it's going to get worse or closer if you keep staring at it. Because sometimes when I've seen shadow people, it's a bit more of like, is that a trick of the light? Or I've got better at spotting the difference between a trick of a light or a shadow, or like a shadow being. Also, they feel different and there's different things about them. But the Hatman is just no poo given. I'm trying not to swear too much because I don't want YouTube to tell me off. YouTube, TikTok. So it's because I watch YouTube a lot. I don't want TikTok to not let me post a video. But yeah, it just felt really horrible and really ominous. And he didn't give a poo. Basically, he's like, I want to stand and watch for as long as I bloody well want. And it felt like any energy I was giving it would have fed him and probably made him more bold. So that's why I think whatever power out there in the universe told me to close my eyes, I just felt like, yeah, I should close my eyes, pray to whatever deity wanted to listen to me. And everything was fine when I woke up, but I wasn't hallucinating. I wasn't delirious from fever. I hadn't heavily drank or took anything. We'd not even watched a scary film. I was already asleep and I knew I wasn't still dreaming, because I was like looking around and I was like very conscious of what I was doing. And I even like, you literally do pinch yourself to check you're awake or asleep. I did that. I was awake. It was not sleep paralysis. I could move. I just was scared to move. I was not asleep. And it really, like, let me know if you've ever experienced the Heartman or shadow beings in particular and what you think they are. If you want to comment, of course. But yeah, it was really horrible. So that's why I wanted to give him a video all of his own, because he was just grouped into the shadow beings video, but it feels like it's something different. I don't know what. It just feels different, like it's something else, but in a really unpleasant way. It doesn't feel neutral or chaotic good. It just feels ominous and oppressive, like a really male dominant unpleasant energy. So if you have any theories of what you think he is, let me know. I do think it's interesting though that universally, apart from one or two small discrepancies, he appears the same throughout the world. Whereas, like I did mention in my Shadow People video, there's different variations all over the world, different names for him. They all look quite different or act quite different. There's the shadow element that's similar, but the Hatman does seem pretty universal throughout in his appearance and behaviour and feelings. So yeah, I just wanted to give him his own video just to see if anyone else has experienced it, or him, or whatever the entity is. What do you think he might be? Because it still to this day bugs me about what it is. I'm trying not to give him too much. I won't make another video after this one, because the more you give someone attention, you just sort of inviting it in, and don't invite him in ever again. I have had lots and lots and lots of experience with shadow beings though. Like, if you look at any of the videos, it won't be hard to find one about them or that they feature in at some point. But yeah, if anyone has any ideas, let me know. Or if you've ever had a fever and experienced anything wacky, yeah, that'd be interesting if you want to let me know. But yeah, I've said that a lot now, haven't I? Sorry, my brain is getting towards the end of the day. But yeah, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoy horror movies, let me know, have you seen Freddy Krueger? What do you think about him? Do you think Freddy Krueger is similar to the Hat Man? If you have any fun facts about Freddy Krueger, let me know. It did used to be one of my favourite films. It's not anymore for obvious reasons. I don't particularly like horror films, but that one I did. And Scream. So, if you want to let me know your favourite horror film, that would be interesting. Okay, I'm going to go now. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you're having a lovely evening, morning, day, whatever time you're seeing this. And I'll see you all soon with Spooky Pickles. Toodly pips.